Coming up tonight on YCN News, Wilmette, New Hampshire residents speak out about a proposed oil and propane facility in their town. And the Sunapee Police Chief invites residents for coffee and conversation, plus a big win for Sunapee softball. For more news, weather, and sports, it's time for YCN News, your local view.
Now, your daily digest of the Dartmouth Lake Sunapee region, southern Vermont, and Windsor County. News, sports, weather, and all that is happening in our area. The news on YCN, your local view.
Good evening. It's Tuesday, May 19th. I'm Laura James. Welcome to YCN News. There was a lot on Wilmette residents' minds last night, especially over a business plan to install an oil and propane facility in town. YCN's Mike Pizzone explains.
A crowd of more than 60 Wilmot, New Hampshire residents came out to the town hall last night for a highly anticipated planning board meeting. The meeting continued the review of the Zoning Board of Appeals variance allowing the installation of the Huckleberry propane and oil facility on Route 11. At the very beginning of the meeting, it was announced that there would be no public comment from the floor, prompting the board's counselor to explain why. The chairman indicated comments and questions from the floor will be taken at its June 1st meeting. Letters that had been received during the interim between the last meeting and last night were read into the minutes and included many of the observations and questions about the proposal, including one from a Mr. Armstrong that the town's master plan never envisioned a heavy industrial use of property. Doug McDonald, vice chair of the Wilmot Conservation Commission, had questions about potential pollution and contamination, that there is no film-forming foam in the community for containing and cleaning up spills. The fire chief, Thomas Scully, noted that a standard operating guideline would need to be in place before the facility can function. He also mentioned that he spoke with the fire chief in Loudon, home of another Huckleberry facility, and said they felt Huckleberry was a good corporate citizen. Other letters had questions about traffic flow, need for environmental study, drainage, lighting, landscaping, fire protection, and roads. Jeffrey Green, a representative of Huckleberry, then addressed some previous concerns, including pavement, traffic flow, meeting sign ordinances, moving some tanks, and landscaping to screen the site better. The board expressed several of their concerns that paralleled many of those expressed in the letters. Before the meeting was adjourned, it was agreed that at 5 p.m. on June 1st, the board would do a walkthrough of the site and invited the public to join them before the regular meeting at Town Hall at 6 p.m.
YCN News will keep you updated on the progress of this story. Thanks, Mike. Across the Connecticut River in Vermont, there will be a statewide test of the Amber Alert system during the afternoon hours tomorrow, Wednesday, May 20th. The Department of Public Safety will conduct a full-scale test of the Amber Alert system. Now, the test will be used to assess and evaluate changes in technology used to alert Vermonters when the Amber Alert system is activated. The test will include a mass emailing to a variety of organizations, activation of the Vermont Lottery Notification System, coordination with Vermont's Agency of Transportation, messaging signs, and dissemination of information to Vermont broadcasters. The emergency broadcast system may be activated as well. The Amber Alert system exercise will walk through a scenario designed to simulate a report of a missing or abducted child. Officials will follow specific protocols that will culminate in the Amber Alert system being activated. The test Amber Alert will contain information that would be consistent as if the scenario was a real activation. All communication associated with this test internally amongst officials and externally to the public will be preceded with the following notice. Well, tonight we have an invitation for tomorrow morning. The Chief of Police in Sunapee, New Hampshire invites you to join him tomorrow morning, Wednesday, May 20th from 7:30 to 8:30 a.m. for coffee and conversation. A chance to get to know more about the Sunapee PD, the duties and operations of the police department, as well as community policing. It's taking place at the Sunapee Safety Services Building in Sunapee, of course. A good chance to talk about any concerns or compliments, and for residents to just get to know their chief of police. Again, tomorrow morning, coffee and conversation at the Sunapee Police Department at 7:30 a.m. Motorcyclists and cyclists who rely on four or two wheels to get where they're going on Route 12 between Claremont and Charlestown, New Hampshire are reminded to please allow extra travel time. Road work in this stretch is under construction. Coming up on YCN News, New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan visited Stevens High School today. A drop in the unemployment rate in New Hampshire, and moose hunt applications for the fall are due soon. News, sports, and a check on the weather all coming up when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Laura James. New Hampshire Governor Maggie Hassan paid a visit to Stevens High School in Claremont today. YCN's Lisa Connell has this story.
Governor Maggie Hassan came to Claremont to witness something that took 50 years in the making. Today marked the dedication of the renovation of the 147-year-old Stevens High School. The governor toured the school, checking out classrooms, science labs, and the auditorium. Inside the auditorium, its refurbished floor and rows of new cushioned seats gleamed, as did everyone on stage. As school board members past and present, architects and city leaders listened, the governor highlighted the school and city's achievement in its redesign. Credit also was given to the students and staff for going about their normal school days as best they could while renovation continued. Residents also were thanked for their support in 2013 of the $12.9 million bond, an amount the city paid for on its own, as the state several years earlier had put a hold on all school building project renovation financing. Across the state, all building projects, if they were done, had to be done at their own expense. Still, the city and school district decided to move forward. Accreditation was at stake, and the city did not want its students to be left behind. SAU 6 Superintendent Middleton McGoodwin tells YCN News the high school project speaks well about the city's future for its students.
Oh, the feeling, you can't describe the feeling because it's represented by a commitment of the community. And the momentum and enthusiasm of the students and the faculty and of the community itself. Claremont is really such a special place. It's had its fiscal challenges, and now we are clearly turning the ship on a slow degree path, working in conjunction with the city of Claremont, with the city council, with the mayor, the city manager, and the community. So this is a successful measure of the community's value of its children and of their future.
Claremont School Board Chairman Richard Seaman says there are many good things happening in the city, citing Stevens High School's renovation as a catalyst.
It's the education side, it's the children. And it's our responsibility after all these years to continue to provide the very best opportunity for them to have the successes as they go forward. You know, a building doesn't educate a child. But without a building, we don't have the foundation on which to bring the teachers, to which to bring the type of programs and the curriculum that are necessary. So we've created the facility now, and now the responsibility is on the adults to make the best of it and do great things for this generation of kids and the next generation of kids.
For YCN News, I'm Lisa Connell.
And whereas Stevens High School faculty must be accredited by the
Certainly an honor for Stevens High School today. Thank you so much, Lisa. Now, the next big event for Stevens High, by the way, is graduation, of course. That's coming up on Friday, June 12th. The state of New Hampshire's unemployment rate continues to fall, falling to 3.8% last month. That, according to Governor Maggie Hassan. She credits the bipartisan work of the state legislature in helping New Hampshire reach this mark. Despite the progress, Hassan says more work must be done to make strategic investments in the shared priorities that will help the state expand middle-class opportunity, support job-creating business, and encourage innovation and attract and retain more young people in New Hampshire. Now, also in the Granite State and from elsewhere too, applications are coming up. If you haven't submitted that application, you want a chance to hunt moose in the Granite State this fall, you better get moving. The deadline for entering the New Hampshire Moose Hunt Lottery is coming up on Friday, May 29th. The New Hampshire Fish and Game Department has proposed to offer permits to 105 lucky winners for New Hampshire's 2015 Moose Hunt, which runs from October 17th through the 25th. Last year's statewide hunter success rate for moose was 72%. It's easy to enter. The information you need is shown on the screen. Coming up on YCN News, Aisha Al-Humaidi is the new director of the Upper Valley Humane Society, a great organization serving the Upper Valley. River Valley Chronicle host Elizabeth DeRazio brings us her interview, all when YCN News returns.
The YCN News continues in a moment.
Welcome back to YCN News. I'm Mike Pizzone. Well, it's been pretty dry over the last couple weeks or so it was nice having a little rain for a change today. We may see a little more this evening with a 30% chance of showers and thunderstorms before 8 p.m. and temperatures bottoming out at about 50 degrees. Those storms could be severe at times, bringing large hail and damaging winds. Things will be a little cooler tomorrow with a high of 60 degrees, partly sunny skies and strong winds between 10 and 15 miles per hour. Skies will become mostly clear tomorrow evening with calming winds and a low of 35. The sun will be back out in full force Thursday with clear skies and a high of 70 degrees during the day before falling to about 45 Thursday evening. Now let's take a look at our community calendar to see what's happening in the region. A blood drive for the American Red Cross will be held tomorrow from 12:30 to 5:30 p.m. at Newport High School on North Main Street in Newport, New Hampshire. No appointments are necessary. Visit redcrossblood.org for more information. The 4th Annual River Valley Employment Fair will be held tomorrow from 2 to 5 p.m. at the Riverside Middle School in Springfield, Vermont. More than 35 local employers and staffing agencies will be on hand, so bring an updated resume. The Ladies Auxiliary of the Croydon Fire Department will host its weekly bingo night Thursday at 6:30 p.m. at the Claremont Senior Center off Maple Avenue. The event is open to anyone ages 18 or older. Ask anyone who Sunapee's biggest athletic rival is, and they'll tell you Derryfield. So it was no surprise to see the school's softball team on its A game with the Cougars in town yesterday. The Lakers won by a single run when the teams met in Manchester during the opening week of the season, but it was a different story yesterday as Sunapee needed just 5 innings to clinch a 14-2 victory by way of New Hampshire's 12-run mercy rule. Derryfield was without its top pitcher due to an injury, and Coach Bonnie Cruz's team was quick to pounce, scoring 5 runs over the first 3 innings before really opening things up from there. The Lakers turned to the long ball in the 4th, hammering 3 home runs in the inning, including Meg Frederick's solo shot here that put the home team up 6-0. It was Jessica Parsons who earned a round-tripper moments later when this bomb to left center made it 9-0, before Rachel Malanga capped off her team's fireworks show with this 3-run shot to up the lead to 13-0. Haley Morin also tallied an RBI in the inning with this soft grounder back to the circle, before Olivia Hamilton's grounder an inning later resulted in an errant throw and the game's final run. Katie Frederick picked up the win from the circle, surrendering no runs on 3 hits and 3 walks while striking out 8 through 4 innings of work. Faith Larpenter pitched well in relief as she struck out a pair and also fielded her position well. I spoke with Katie Frederick after the game, who said that it always feels good when you beat a rival, especially given her team's resurgence at the plate.
Feels really good. Our bats came back today, 3 home runs in an inning. That's exciting. It was nice to hit again for our team. We're not hitting like we know we can right now, and our defense isn't as great as we know it can be. So just what we like to improve in those 2 areas, and then we'll be awesome.
I also spoke with Sunapee coach Bonnie Cruz, who added that her team's play defensively has her optimistic going forward.
Our defense was great. We have 6 outfielders, and only 3 spots, so it's great to, put 3 in and then 3 more that come in and take care of the job out there. The ground ball and hitting our cutoffs and making those plays, because that's huge.
The Lakers improved to 11-2 with their 4th straight win and will host 11-2 Wilton Limeboro on Friday. Jake Viersen held Stevens scoreless over the game's final 2 innings yesterday, helping the Kearsarge baseball team hold on for a narrow victory. Ryan Stanley and James Bromwell led the Cougars with 2 RBI apiece, while Mario Fusco earned the win from the mound through 5 innings of work. Briar Roulard pitched well for Stevens despite suffering the loss, allowing 6 earned runs on 10 hits and 2 walks in a complete game effort. Kearsarge improved to 5-8, and the Cardinals are now 7-6. Jade Twombly struck out the game's final 2 batters with a potential tying run on 3rd yesterday, lifting the Springfield softball team to a 1-run victory over Division I Brattleboro. Twombly pitched all 7 innings for the Cosmos, allowing 3 runs on 7 hits and 5 walks while striking out 12. Chelsea McAllister and Cassidy Oates led the way offensively with 3 hits apiece. Springfield is now 8-2 and will be back in action tomorrow when it travels to face another Division I opponent in Rutland. Christine Critoro found the back of the net 6 times yesterday to help lift the Hanover girls lacrosse team to a one-sided victory over Merrimack Valley. JJ Daniel also tallied 6 points for the visiting team, finishing with 4 goals and a pair of assists. Kylie Sigma McManus earned the win between the pipes, turning aside 3 of the 8 shots she faced. Hanover is now 11-3 and will host Wyndham tomorrow. That does it for YCN Sports. I'm Mike Pizzone.
Thanks so much, Mike. On Capital Connections, John O'Connor has been talking about a trip that New England college students made to Kenya. They're helping local farmers set up businesses. We'll have details and a look at that story coming up when YCN News continues.
The YCN News continues in a moment.